A very warm welcome to all the viewers. If you're able to hear me and see the screen, could you please say a hi message so that I know you're all able to see my screen. So we have 7 days left, or less than 7 days actually, here left for the NID exam. So how do we utilize these days, the remaining days preceding the exam? What we should be doing now? Is there a strategy that we can follow to do well in the exam is what we are all going to discuss today. So imagine you exactly know what are the topics or the areas where you have to improve and exact questions where you have to focus more time on. What if you get that kind of a strategic actionable insights? How useful, how beneficial that would be, isn't it? Right? So it is possible to get these strategic actionable insights. You just will have to do some activity and then you will get this beautiful insight. And one of the ways to get all these insights is by practicing the past year papers, not just by practicing them, but there's a particular method of accessing them. So I have given you a link. The link is also given in the YouTube chat description. Okay, if you click on that link, it will directly take you to a page that has all the past year papers. You can access the past year papers. Now, I'm going to show you what kind of insights you can get and how you can strategize your preparation in the next 5-6 days. Okay, so this is the link is also given. So, I'm sorry. So this is a YouTube live page, right? So here there is a link. Get your personalized actionable strategy insights by answering these past year papers for free. So please click on that. So that's gonna open. That is gonna open a page that has got all the different sets of questions. In that, I would want you to click on the past year papers, right? So in the past year papers, you can find all the various years, NID, UCED, SEED, NID, BDES, and MDES papers, all of that. So I would request you to answer all these questions. And there's a particular way to answer these questions. I will tell you. Now, if you are noticing here, let me change this from faculty to student insights. Now, there are some suggestions that are shown here. I hope you're all able to see these suggestions in your own personal logins of edge.eqlabs.in. If it is empty, that means that there are no suggestions because you have not taken the test yet. Okay. So the first thing is you have to take a test and then these suggestions will start populating. So what is these suggestions? These suggestions are intelligent, strategic, actionable insights specifically for you. Like for me, my first suggestion is to study odd one out. And my second suggestion is counting surfaces and edges. And for you, these suggestions will be completely different based on how you have performed in your exam. All right. So these are the actionable insights that I'm talking about, which would tremendously help you to focus pinpointedly the topic or the question format that you're lacking behind, and that would require your immediate attention. So if you attend those topics thoroughly, understand where you're making mistakes and correct your mistakes, you will be thoroughly prepared for the exam. So once you finish, let us say odd one out, studying odd one out, the subject is general knowledge. So once you have done that, click on mark as studied so that the next topic or next insight or suggestion is shown to you. And please follow the study process as is mentioned here. And once you finish this, please click on all these topics after studying, mark as studied, so that you are covering all the topics in the order of priority that matters to you to improve your scores. Once you finish all these topics, for example, all my suggestions are exhausted, there are no more suggestions, now then I would want you to answer the next question paper. Okay, so the objective is that we are trying to eliminate all the possible mistakes that you're doing by strengthening your basic concepts in those topics, and then re-attempting a different mock test or a different practice test or a past year paper, so that all those can be eradicated. All the mistakes that you're doing can be eradicated. So this is how you can get precise, actionable insights. Okay, that's to be very short, like how you can get intelligent insight in terms of what specific topic or what question format that you should be focusing on to answer to gain marks in a very less time. All right. Okay, now let us go to the other aspects. So this is a very short webinar. We'll be finishing closing by 5:20, and we'll have a 5 to 10 minute window where you can ask all your questions, and I'll go through them and I'll answer those questions. Another thing what you can do is just go through. I'll show you in the window. What you can do is go through the learn part. Just scroll down to the point where you can see a heat map, and it shows 5 days left. And this kind of gives you an overall understanding of how the weightages of various topics are changing over a period of time. So if you see in 2016, the general knowledge was 60 questions and it has dropped down to 10 questions in 2020, right? Similarly, if you look at the English questions, which were 14 in 2016, have almost gone to 0 in 2020. Okay, so this basically gives you the trend of what topics you can expect and etc. But in 2021, these numbers can completely change. Where there is 0, that 0 can be 20. Where there is 10, that can be a 0, right? But please be ready for any kind of change in the question pattern. Okay, fine. So if you go as per the exam syllabus, what they're asking is, or trying to assess you, is the knowledge, skills, and behavioral abilities of candidates. So they have not given any specific syllabus per se, but this is a very broad statement that they have made. So that is the reason it is very important that you go through the past year papers on DQH, so that you specifically understand what kind of questions they may ask, and it will also pinpointedly tell you the areas that you should be focusing on. All right. So there are 4 things, guys, you can do in the next 4-5 days. Okay. Number 1, you have to improve your knowledge. Number 2, you have to get feedback in terms of critical areas where you have to improve. Number 3, you have to do a thorough reasoning of errors. When you're doing the practice test, you should understand if you got an error or a mistake, why that mistake you have done. Okay, answer is not important. The mistake that you have done, the reason for mistake is absolutely important, and you should be focusing on that, and you should be understanding why that mistake happened so that you can avoid doing that mistake in the exam. And number 4, the timed practice. At least do one test, one full length test per day going forward till Saturday. Okay. Now let me just deep dive into each of these 4 areas and give you more insights. Now, knowledge. How do you improve your knowledge? Number 1, DQH will tremendously help you. On DQH, there are so much of learned content already kept up, neatly framed for you. So please go through the DQH website. The second source is called dsource, dsource.com or dsource.in is a website where it is maintained by professors of IIT, NID, and etc. For the benefit of all the community, all the people all across the world. So please go through this website and browse through as much of information as possible and grasp as much as possible. So it's a very interesting website. Resource, so it's dsource.in. So there are so much of resources that is available, very interesting resources. You can go through, okay, if you want to design for children, there are plenty of papers. Typography, try to understand about typography. Okay. Wooden toy making. So there are so many things. You can also use their search option to find a particular way. Like for example, Patachitra paintings. Okay, Patachitra. Let us say paintings. Okay. All right. So different kinds of paintings, right? So paintings of Tanjore, folk paintings, elephant paintings, Madhubani paintings, acrylic paintings. So all the paintings are here. The process are documented nicely. For example, let us take one particular method. Let's say Mysore painting process. So they talk about the tools, the methodologies, all right. So with the illustrations in terms of how it is being painted and processed, and all of that beautiful information is documented and showcased. So go through that as much as possible as per your need. All right. And DQ Edge, I was talking about the resources that we have. For example, if you go to general knowledge, let us say famous art and artists. So all these works are neatly documented so that in one go you can understand. For example, Andy Warhol, his works, his famous works, and a little bit about him. So you can easily visually understand who that guy is and what is he famous for, his art style and etc. Right? So all this is done and kept beautifully documented. Please go through this resource as well. And if you still have got time, please go through the Manorama yearbook. The yearbook is out now. So please go through the yearbook and go through the first 50 questions, either from the beginning or from the end. There are high possibility that at least one or two questions might come from the general knowledge objective type questions that they have framed, because that is what we have noticed in the previous years as well. Okay. So Manorama yearbook, and then search specific terms. If you still have got time, I would want you to search some specific terms. Like what you have to do is you just have to prefix these terms with design. Okay, for example, design technical terms, Google it. You will get some resources, just go through them. Design software used and the tools, design practical experiences, design technology, design concepts, well-known designers, um, design awards, design trends. Okay, so just take a snapshot of this and please prefix with design, and you can Google search and go through some resources, and that way you can improve your knowledge of the domain. Okay, that's number one. Secondly, the feedback. Guys, this is very, very important. There is so much you can do by reviewing other student works. So let me just go back to DQ Edge, and since I have asked you to go through the past year papers, and I'm sure you'll go through that. Let us say BDES 2020. Now go through the sketching questions. There are the sketching questions that are put up here. Okay, so you sketch them out. Once you upload, you will be asked to self-rate, evaluate, and etc. And then if you scroll down further, you can see some beautiful images, sketches done by your previous year students, right? So go through them, understand how they have done, what mistakes they have done. Please comment. You can comment on the sketches, like just click on that and leave your comments. You can also go through the comments of other people who have left the thing. Like for example, vertical and horizontal lines should be parallel in one point perspective. So this line is not parallel to this line, right? So there are so many things that you can learn by looking at other students' sketches. Like for example, all the depth lines should converge into vanishing point. So all these lines should be like going through the vanishing point, right? So you can gain plenty of experience and insights by just looking at the other student drawings. For example, see Mahima, how she has done, how beautifully she has done, and how nicely she has colored and etc. She has beautifully shown her foreground and background and all of this, right? So you get very interesting insights. Let us say what this student is trying to say. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So stool seems too low, right? Now let's check at the picture. Now, if you look at the picture, the height of the stool is almost at the height of the second cupboard, right? The top of the second cupboard. Now, here also it looks almost similar, but because this is in perspective, the stool, because it is little closer to you, this has to be little higher. Okay, so these kind of a very sensitive comments and information and all of that you can gain when you kind of review the sketches. So very important, please review the sketches of yours and also others, and please once you review the sketches, ideate your own concepts. So once you review your sketches, you start ideating your own concepts. Okay, if I were that student, if I had to do that particular sketch, how would I do it? And quickly doodle it, quickly sketch that out. All right. And then the third thing that you can do is quick sketching of 10 objects per day. Even now you can do like 10 objects should not take more than, let us say, 2 minutes per object. 20 minutes is a 20-minute assignment. Take a pen directly, look at an object and quickly sketch it out. So this kind of work would tremendously help you improve your speed of working. All right. So that is about the feedback. Now, number 4 is the reason for errors. Now, this is what I was talking about when you do your practice questions on Edge. Please go through the answer options, what you have done, how you can find that is, let us say, see, I have given this NID BDES 2019 paper. Let me just click on that and it shows you, oh, okay, continue last attempt. So I have not finished the last attempt. So let me take one of the students' works and let me showcase you that. Users. All right, so let me quickly show through one of the students. Okay, for example, Rachita Balal. Let me take Rachita Balal's work under the activity. Let us say go through the test. Let us take the latest test that she has done. For example, NID mock test number 7. Now, this is where you get very good information which talks about the segregation of your knowledge. Okay, whether you have applied knowledge, formula, elimination, random choosing. Okay, and guys, this is what I was talking about, danger topics. Now, here you see 3 different cards, red, orange, and green card. Now, you have to be very focusedly studying about this red card, okay? Because you have answered through knowledge and you got that question wrong. So you have to review that particular question, why you got it wrong. Similarly, the geometric shape. So there is a beautiful feature here where you can go through your answers and it kind of shows all the questions that you got wrong, okay, and go through the question and ask why you made a mistake. In Roman numerals, which letter represents 1000? So the student has picked L, but the right answer is M. So why? Because your understanding of numerals, Roman numerals, is wrong. So what you do immediately, you look for the Roman numerals, right? Roman numerals. Google it. Okay, so look at these kind of resources, charts, etc., and you understand. So L stands for 50, C stands for 100, D for 500, M for 1000. Take notes, make notes. Okay, so this is the depth into which you have to go to understand the mistakes and errors that you are making. Okay, so reason for errors. And then the 4th one is the time to practice, guys. This is again and again very important. Please time your sketching sessions. When you are practicing, don't take more than 30 minutes per sketch. Spend the first 5 minutes for doodling. When you are doodling, explore at least 4 or 5 different views of the same concept for the same question. Identify which view is good, with which view you're able to show maximum number of foreground, background elements, and etc. You're able to capture the essence and theme of the sketch. Pick that, and the next 25 minutes, please do your final work. All right. So these are some of the things that you can do to improve your sketching, sorry, your chances of doing really well in your NID exam. So the next 5-6 days, this is how you can utilize your time. All right. Okay. So now about the questions. So if you have any questions, please do type in. I'm gonna go through all your comments once, so that if there are any specific questions, I would like to answer. Okay, so Suyog Manoj is asking, sir, where will I find that Manorama book? Manorama book, you can find it any bookstores like Crosswords or any bookshop. Just go walk in, ask for 2021 Manorama. Okay, so they will give you the book. Sir, we have to register and pay for this feedback session. Rekha Sharma, we have made all the past year papers absolutely free. I have shared the link. The link is also kept in the YouTube description. Please click on it. Access all the past year papers for free. If you want any specific feedback on any of your sketches and etc., we can ask our faculty to do it, but it will be a paid session. You can please get in touch with the DQ Labs counselor on 959-10-100-1000, 959-100-1000. Please send your request to that. Da Vinci is asking, sir, how do we determine the position of stool from the given picture? Da Vinci, it is a simple perspective concept, 1-point perspective concept, where you can actually get every drawing, every object in the sketch in a measured fashion. All right. So if you are a DQ Lab student, please get in touch with Velu sir and ask him to teach you how to do it if you're not learned it. Okay. Right. Rekha Sharma, sir, I have not practiced much about DAT portion, but I have done this, the basics and all. I still get into NID. Yogita from Bits Pilani. The next 5 days, please try to follow the instructions that I have given you regarding the DAT. You would be prepared quite better than not utilizing the instructions. Please do that. Okay. Yeah, it all depends. It all depends on how best you are able to answer those questions in 3 hours of time. All the practice that you do for the last 2 years is for getting the questions right in those 3 hours, right? If you have not done that practice, but even then, have faith, do your job good, and do your best. Let us see how the things turn out. Kriti Mukherjee, so is she's saying is 30 minutes actually okay? We should reduce time to 20 minutes. I can finish sketches in 30 minutes, but I feel still taking a lot of time. Kriti, if you're able to do that, fantastic. If you're able to finish a sketch within 30 minutes, let's say 20 minutes, that means you have 10 more minutes time left to do much more work in that sketch. Don't just leave the time, right? Okay. विश्वजीत is asking, sir, नाटा में drawing, logo design, memory drawing, perspective आने वाला नहीं है. नहीं है ना. Vishwajit, the pattern has changed for NATA. We are having a session specifically for NATA next Monday. Please do attend that. We will be discussing about what's going to happen in the NATA exam. Prisha is asking, hi sir, for questions like draw the cross section of a given object. Does it have to be a practical sketch, or can I do a creative answer? Prisha, for such a question, if you know how the cross section would actually look like, do it as it would look like. If you do not know, approach the question in a very, very creative manner, but don't leave the question. Answer the question and give what they wanted. Okay. All right. So which type of drawing we need to draw? I mean, cartoonic type or detailed? Deva, the question that you're asking, you have to read the instructions of the question carefully. Generally, what happens is in the NID exam, you will have a fine art based question, one creative question, one design based question. Most probably these three kind of questions. So if it is a fine art question, they will clearly mention saying that, okay, please show shades and shadows, textures, etc., for the given sketch. In such a manner, if the question is like that, then you have to create an artistic, like a realistic sketch of that theme. If they're not asking like that, then you can go crazy and you can create cartoonistic way of doing it. But let us say you're not good at doing realistic drawings and you're excellent in doing cartoonistic drawings, then you do the cartoonistic way of those sketches. Absolutely fine. But whatever you draw has to be impressive. So Art Spark is saying, what about the stationery that we should carry to the exam? The stationery that you should be carrying in the exam is already mentioned in the hall tickets that you have got. Please strictly follow that instructions. Please take the stationery that are required for that. Percy, any tips on how to implement any human figure with correct proportion and perspective? The human figure drawing is the most difficult part of the sketching part. We have some videos posted on DQH. If you are a DQ student and if you're not able to, you have not mastered the topic, so please get in touch with your single point of contact. They will make or they'll arrange a special class on sketching human figures and we will help you cover the topic. Percy? Navya is saying, sir, how can I improve my drawing skills? Navya, have a practice of drawing at least 10 objects per day. If you still, in the next 5-6 days, what you can do is we would be having some short-term sketching classes. If you're able to join, please do join and improve the classes, because that is something, that's a topic that I cannot explain you in a 1 minute or 2 minutes. It requires a lot of practice. One thing is for sure, sketching is all about logic. Every line that you draw on paper has a relationship with the other line that you draw on the paper, and it creates a meaningful composition. If you crack that logic, the sketching becomes very, very easy. Da Vinci is saying, any other color material other than color pencils are allowed, like felt tip pens. Please check the description that is given in the hall ticket. All right. Manmeet Singh is asking, sir, what level of detailing is enough? It depends on the question and the marks. Let us say they ask you to do a rough sketch of a child playing with Legos, right? And they give you 5 marks compared to a designing question that requires you to design a briefcase for a working professional who travels quite frequently, which carries 50 marks. So on what sketch would you spend a lot of time detailing, right, Manmeet? So you have to make your own judgment in terms of the weightage of the marks given for those questions. All right. All right. Manisha is saying, we are not allowed to take any bag with us for the NID exam. How do we carry the stationery and colors inside the exam hall? So, Manisha, you can take a transparent bag. You have these transparent pouches in which you can keep all your art material, and you can take it. You get this zip kind of A4 size pouches. You can buy it in a stationery shop, and you can keep all the stationery material in that and take it. Okay. Sahil, where can we find NID MDES 2020 paper? Yeah, NID 2020 and MDES 2020 paper is not available on their website completely. It's not available. Only the first part is there. The GAT part is there. The stream specific part is not there. we are releasing some of the questions. Please follow our DQ Edge. For all the DQ Lab students, PG students who are listening to this, please, we have a group. Please mention the discipline so that we can share some questions with you. Okay, so Macharla Chandana is saying, my drawing skills aren't very good. What do you suggest me to practice in the last few days? Chandana, what you can do is do object drawing. See an object, keep it in front of you and draw the outline of the object using a pen. You do as many objects as possible within the short amount of time. If you had asked this question a few days back, probably we could have directed you to a free sketching class that we generally have. I'm not sure if you are having a free sketching class this week or not. So please contact our single point of contact. They will help you to understand how other ways you can attend last minute classes. Okay, so Da Vinci is saying, is the aptitude part of the NID exam pen paper as well? Mostly it should be pen paper only, Da Vinci. So probably because the number of questions, aptitude questions, maybe will be about 20. So for that, they don't require a computer to be used. So it might be probably mostly paper pen based. Amin is saying, sir, are there any links we could refer to specifically find design centric drawing questions in bulk? What do you mean by design centric drawing questions? You mean to say design specific? Amin, I think that's what you're trying to tell. We'll do one thing, Amin. We will share some questions on DQ Edge in the learn part, and we'll keep it open for public to view. We'll try to do that. All right. Okay. Naina Rati, are there any tips for MDES animation design? All right. So the tips for the MDES animation design or any of the 19 design specific disciplines. These are the things, guys, please take a snapshot of this. These are the things that we want you to do. Animation design. So what you have to do, keep animation design, prefix it and Google search these terms. Like for example, animation design technical terms, animation software used and their whatever tools, animation design practical experiences, animation design technology, animation design concepts, well-known designers in the animation field, award-winning animation projects, animation design trends. I would want you to search these terms. You will get fantastic resources, and that would be a very good starting point for you to get acquainted with. And then also see what is happening in the industry related to your specific field. Okay, so that way you can gain last minute some insights. Okay. Siddharth is saying, Umesh sir, yes, I'm listening. Siddharth, did you ask me any questions in the past? I'm not sure if I come across, so please you can ask your question one more time. Da Vinci is saying, how much time should we preferably take for aptitude? Though it may vary from person to person, how much time would you recommend? I would generally recommend not more than 2 minutes per aptitude question. If you're taking more than 2 minutes, please skip it, dump it, go for the next question, because it should not take more than 2 minutes. Okay. Who, right. Anvai is asking any tips for developing aptitude for MDES toy and game design. So please follow what I have just told for animation design using the technical terms, doing a Google search of all of these. Guys, please follow. Even for the stream specific for furniture design, please follow the instructions what I have told. That's gonna help you understand the specific design stream specific industry thoroughly. All right, so last question. Amin is saying, sir, questions that require us to design solution to problems rather than just test our raw artistic skills. Yes, Amin, there will definitely be one question which would try to understand your problem solving skills. So how do you solve this, or how do you gain that? is just go through previous questions. Okay, where is the previous questions? I'm sorry, where is it? Feedback. So go through DQ Edge, the previous year's questions. Okay, there are many problems related questions, design problem related questions. See how other students have solved and how you would have solved. Okay, so that would kind of help you prepare for your mentally prepare for answering such kind of questions. All right. Okay. So Machala Chandra is saying, as in UC, we have 30 minutes for sketching. So in the similar way, is there any particular time allotted for NID sketching part? Yes. It is allotted. Um, all right. So there is a specific time that is allotted. Okay. So please kindly go through the NID brochure. There they have specifically said, I think it's about 1 hour for the aptitude and the 2 hours for the sketching or something like that. You will get plenty of time for your sketching. Okay. I mean, not plenty in the sense, not like NIFT exam where you have plenty of time, you don't know what to do. What I mean is, in terms of the bulk, overall amount of time for sketching will be more compared to the aptitude test. But the time will just flew like that if you're not carefully planned. The time will just flew like that, and you do not know when the 3 hours are finished. All right. Okay. So with that, I would like to wish you all the best, guys. You have been preparing really well all these years. Now, please enjoy the exam. Forget about the result. Try to give in your best. Don't get tensed. Whatever should happen, whatever good should happen to you will happen. So you just have to go there and give your best. Focus on giving your best, doing your best without wasting any time, without misunderstanding the question. Do your attempt pretty well, and you would definitely see a good result. And with that, I would like to close the session and thank you so much for attending. And please follow and subscribe our YouTube channel. And please do like and share this video, this webinar with all of your friends. Thank you so much.